So look at the comparison. African American superior genetics been working out since 14 years old. Puerto Rican started working out at 52 years old after he found himself where he couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, fat, out of shape, with a past history of drinking. You see the difference? We're messing with things like that, not knowing that we're wasting our time comparing. And so, no comparison at all. I don't want to even utter that word. What's happening? My name is Albert. Welcome to another hang with this 61-year-old, along with a topic that I've been dying to talk about once again, which is the harms of comparison. I spoke to a 30-year-old and he broke my heart, man. His entire mental state was rooted in comparison, better, this is better, and I have more, and I have another, and I have 9 guitars. And at the end, I felt so bad because he's not doing well up here, and I can see why. When you compare to that capacity, oh my God. And so I grew up the same way. Comparing constantly. Oh, he's better. Oh, I'm better. Oh, that is better. Or more. And, you know, we compare within the degrees. Like, she's pretty, she's prettier, she's prettiest, and she's beautiful, and that one is stunning. And so whoever's pretty is going to feel low, or because there's someone prettier. And whoever's prettier will feel low when there's someone prettier than her. The prettiest against the prettier. And then the prettiest is going to come across that stunning girl who won the beauty pageant, and she's going to feel, Then the beauty, the most beautifulest girl in the world is going to feel like crap when she loses it. And so what we're doing to ourselves is just freaking one of the biggest harms ever. And so I like talking about this because I got out of comparing outbound. And then when I stopped comparing outbound, which means me against that person and that person against this, when I stopped doing that, I started to compare me with me. But I stopped doing that also. Because I saw through this channel, because I record all my workouts, that comparing myself from one state to another, or from last year to this year, it's such the variables run across the board where I can't really do it anymore. And I'm going to explain, because I just did a hang where I hung for 1 minute and 19 seconds, and I posted it just a second ago, just to hang, just to see how long. And I did 1 minute and 19 seconds, and then I checked my history of hangs. And last year in July, which is like 12 months ago, I hung for 1 minute and 24 seconds. Now, I didn't plan this time to do better than a year ago. I just hung. And that's the difference. I'm not trying to do better than myself anymore. I cut that out. What I do here is that, luckily, I film everything. And so when I hang, I have no idea how long I'm going to hang for. I put a timer after, like when I hang right now, I'm going to have no clue. I'm just going to hang. And then when I hang, after I put the timer and I go, wow, I hung for 1 minute in this. And then I go back to my history and I go, wow, last year I hung for just about the same amount of time. And so that's not comparison. What I'm doing is that I'm taking a look at my performance, which is very, very different, because comparing, there's this edge to be better, to fight, to push, and I'm not doing that anymore. However, last year, exactly 12 months ago, if I did 1 minute and 24 seconds, and today I hung for 1 minute and 19 seconds, that's what, 5 seconds off? And the variable here is that today I swung. So I'm pushing myself, and so that probably is the cause of me hanging less. But now, I don't care to do better. All I'm doing is hanging. And when I do push-ups, that's all I'm doing. And so right now, if I do push-ups, I'll film it. And then afterwards, I'll count, and then I'll compare it to my history of push-ups. And then I'll go, wow. And what this teaches me is it true? Is it true that when you get older, you get weaker, and you're not as strong, and you're not a spring chicken? Is it true? Because for me, it's not. But at the same time, it shouldn't matter because I'm aging. So if I am doing less push-ups or I'm not practicing push-ups as before, then there's going to be a big difference between me doing a lot of push-ups back then, me not doing a lot of push-ups now. So naturally, I'm going to do less push-ups. And so before I do the hang, I want to use this one example because I may forget. If two boxers fight each other every single week on a Friday, this guy may win one time, and then this guy may win again, and then this guy may win, and then this guy may win, and then this guy may win, and then this guy may win. I learned that in martial arts, where I would spar with different people, and there'll be just times where I was like, yeah, and I was freaking on it. And there was some times where I wasn't on it, and he would end up freaking flipping me over, and he would have an edge over me. And so, but it was never the same. And so the whole idea of competing and comparison is flawed. It's flawed because our strength doesn't lie on the same level. One day you may be stronger than another. Some days you may be smarter than another day. Sometimes you may feel like you're just dumb. And so our wits, our strength, it changes. It varies from day to day. And so this is one of my breakthroughs because there was a guy, he was born in the 1800s. He said that comparing leads to heart failure, and I can see why. You're constantly wanting to be better, and then when they're not, push, and then fight, just to be better so that you can feel good about yourself and go, look at, I did better, and I'm the king, and I'm the master, when that causes so much harm. And so this guy said this back in 1895. I hold that to be such a freaking important factor that it was said so long ago. And that's what we do, and that's what I saw. And so that kid that I spoke to, he's like 30-something years old, he freaking literally broke my heart when all I heard from him was better, and I have more, and I have, and no more, man. That's out of my life. So I'm going to do a hang and then come back here and see what else I have to say about the harms of comparison. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Shoot! Look at me. I can't open my hands. Wow. Oh my God. So while I was hanging, this is what came to my mind. That, we're taught to compare. It's already written in our blueprint. Compare this with that clothes, with this person. We constantly comparing. And so we're doing it naturally. And so you may think, well, shit, we have to compare. Now, the argument that someone may bring to the table is, you want to compare cars, or you want to compare a coffee machine. So I'm going to use coffee machines as an example. I don't compare coffee machines, although I thought I needed to. What I do is that I look at is practical applications. Practical application means is efficacy, like, okay, there's two of us, and so I want to buy a coffee machine that can make 2 coffees at the same time. That's practicality. So there's no comparing there. There's not this coffee machine is better than that coffee machine, because the coffee machine that's made to make just 1 cup and that's it, not a cappuccino and not an espresso, it's made to do that. So it was designed specifically to do that. So why should I compare that coffee machine that's designed to just make one flat cup of coffee against a freaking machine that can make an espresso, a cappuccino, a latte, and make that type of comparison? That's not even a comparison. The design for the one single flat cup of coffee was designed and produced and manufactured for that. So there's no comparison there. So practicality means to see what it can deliver. So I have a family, let's pretend, and there's 4 of us, and we all like coffee. So I'm gonna find a coffee machine that's convenient, where when I wake up, I can make 2-4 cups of coffee at the same time, or prepare it so that I can make coffees fast. That is practicality. That is not comparison. And so I would, before, compare girls. Oh, this one is prettier than that one, and I cut that out. Now, because I cut that out, I'm seeing the beauty of everyone in such a different way, because no one ought to be compared. Why? Like, the girl was born this way, or the guy was born that way. They weren't in charge of how they came out. And here we are saying, look at him, he's taller than you. It's like, if I'm 5'7", saying, look at that guy's taller than you, and you making a comparison, it's a waste of a comparison, because I came out 5'7". I'm not 6'1". And so we're messing with things like that, not knowing that we're wasting our time comparing. And I've been compared to here on this channel with African guys like that with superior genetics that have been working out since they were 14. Those guys compared me to them when I'm freaking Spanish with different genetics, and I started working out at 52. So look at the comparison. African American superior genetics been working out since 14 years old. Puerto Rican started working out at 52 years old after he found himself where he couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, fat, out of shape, with a past history of drinking. You see the difference? Like, that's what happens though. The people they tend to compare immediately without grounds, without questioning. And so I said this to someone that challenged me to do 50 push-ups, and the message that I gave him is that there's no challenge here, because I could do 50 push-ups with no problem. Now, if you can't do 50 push-ups and I do the 50 push-ups with no problem, I just jerked myself, because I just did the 50 push-ups that I can normally do. So I already jerked myself right there. Now, if I could do 50 push-ups, let's say, I could do more, but I'm using 50 as a number. If I could do 50 push-ups and all you could do is 25, how about I put on a 5 kg vest now, and then we can do the push-ups together? Because now I'm measuring up to something a little bit more, where I'm actually gonna go and get a nice workout and put in a real good effort. Knowing that I can do 50 push-ups and this guy can only do 25, if I feel good about that I beat him, then I'm freaking sad. I hope I made my point. If you could do 100 of anything and you know it, and I could only do 20, and after you do 100 and I do 20, you feel good about that? That is so sad. But I'm seeing that everywhere. Comparing. This one's better. Oh no, this guy could do more. Oh, he's weak. Oh, this guy's better. The drummers, like even in the music field, the guy's playing the drums, man. He's freaking rocking and he's playing good, and he's immediately compared with someone else. Someone says, man, this guy plays drums, man. I like him, but we make a real big mistake. The mistake we do constantly is, oh, this guy is the greatest. This guy is the best. And I'm a drummer. I would never want to be called the greatest. I do not want to be called the best. I'm just freaking drumming, man. And I'm drumming from the state of where I'm drumming, and how I drum is how I drum. What the hell are you doing comparing me to another drummer? That is already a sickness within itself, because you're making a comparison against maybe where they both don't stand. Okay, 2 rock and roll drummers. They may play freaking just in a different realm. One is like orchestra playing with a lot of fills. The other guy may be a rock and roll straight guy that does it only once in a while. And so they're just different people. And so to compare them is a lack of, well, this guy likes to play because he's like a wild guy. So he likes to play all crazy. So that's his characteristics. The other guy doesn't have that. He doesn't want it. So what the hell are you doing comparing them to each other? And so these comparison measures, they turn into fights a lot. I see people fighting over it. They're like, oh yeah, well, hell with you. This guy's better. Oh no, he's not. And it ends up with just a verbal thing. That ends up nowhere, because then what do? Comparing. You're gonna compare me as a 61 years old to who? Think about it. Who would you like to compare me to? For what? Like after that, then what happens? You feel good about it? Once again, if you feel good about comparing me to someone else just so you can go like this, oh my God, this is the most saddest state that I could ever see, because the person that does whatever they do, like a lot of times I challenge people, but so that they can see me cheer them on. But they already threatened by it, because, oh, what if I lose? And I'm ready to, like, let's say we do a challenge, and let's say I did 100 push-ups straight out, and the other guy's at 40. I'll be telling him, come on, baby, let's do it, because that's where he's at right now. And so I don't even know how to compare, because I've been working out for 9+ years. He probably just faced the push-ups after not facing them for a long time. So you see what's going on here? Do you see the mess of what comparing does? And so it has absolutely no value if you really think about it, because you ought to do the maximum of your capability anyway. Why are you cutting yourself short, period? Why try to be better than someone else if all you could do is run from here to there at this speed, and that's what you could do, so do it. The next time you do it, you're going to have natural progression if you keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. But if I compare myself to him and I'm trying to push, I'm going to end up angry. I'm going to end up frustrated. I'm going to say, why am I a wimp? Why am I a loser? And then look at what I'm doing to myself. And so it's such a disservice to humanity to compare. Compare this to this. The usage of the better is comparison. So I don't use better. There's nothing better than what? There's nothing better and the more. Give me more. I want some more. Yeah, if I have more, that's comparison, because less against more. Before I had less, now I have more, so there's a comparative measure right there. My girl now compared to that other girl. No, she was the way she was, and this girl is the way she is. I don't have to make a comparison like this one is better. No, maybe we weren't compatible, and that's a better way to see it, rather than she wasn't good for me. It's like, okay, so I'm going to do this next freaking hang. I don't know what I hung for the first time, but I'm going to time it and find out. So let's hang. 1, 2, 3. I have to say that it's kind of orgasmic, these hangs, bro, because when I let go, it's such a release. It feels so freaking good, like everywhere, man. All the benefits, man, I feel them right there. And so this is the next thing that comes to mind. I know people that are constantly in the comparative world, and they do it with me. And so they'll ask the kid, he's 5, 6, 7 years old, they'll go, who's stronger, me or Albert? And I get so freaking out of place with that, because now they're getting the poor 6-year-old involved with taking a look at that type of comparison, which now he's going to develop and he's going to continue to do it. And this kid is freaking gorgeous. And the chances he's going to think he's ugly are sky high already. And why? Because with that comparison measure, he's going to come across someone who's more good looking than him. Or when he gets older, he's actually a gorgeous kid. And so wherever that level may be, where he ends up losing it is where he'll fall off and fall into depression and all that nonsense that we freaking end up getting into because of comparison. That's another thing that ends up happening to us because of comparison. We end up falling into all, deep levels of sadness. Oh, no one's paying attention to me anymore. I'm not the most popular of the whatever anymore. Oh, my status is lower now. Nobody is giving me compliments like before. And then what happens? The natural sink. And so that natural sink doesn't have to happen if we don't compare. But because there's comparison, we're ruining the children by making them compare. So this guy asked the little kid, so who's stronger, me or Albert? And so I definitely have more muscles than him. And so the guy looked at me and said, well, Albert. And then he said, well, who has more money? Right there to beat me. And he took his wallet and he put it like this in his muscle. He says, well, who has more money? And so look at how freaking terrible. And that's comparison. And so I always wanted to maybe give him a lesson, but he's unable to catch it because he's already rooted in comparison, which most people that may watch this video, you may be at odds with me already because you're so used to comparing. You probably think it's necessary and a prerequisite to compare because, well, how would you get better? And you may not know the innate system that has an automatic way to progress. There's natural progression. Like if I try to run a mile and I can't, and if the next day I try to run that mile, in time I'll run the mile because there's natural progression. If I do push-ups and I decide to do, let's say, start with 10 push-ups, natural progression will lead me to 12 to 15 to 20 to 30. But it's natural progression. And so if you don't know natural progression, you're always going to think that you need to compare to be better. And so I wish that I could freaking tell him to stop comparing for his own sake. But I learned this from the guy from, I'm going to say who it is, 1895. His name is UG Krishnamurt. He's the one that turned me on to the waste of comparison along with J.K. Krishnamurt. These are two freaking Indian gurus. They don't want to be called gurus. They just want to point things out. And what they pointed out was the harms of comparison. The reason why I didn't want to point them out is because as soon as there's as soon as I mention it, if you happen to not like Indians, you'll be like, oh, that's bullshit. Because that's the comparison there too. The Indian, well, I'm American and that's an Indian comparison. This is that, and this is that, and this is this comparison. And so that's why I didn't want to mention the names, because I want to bring to the table what I have, rather than some type of a teaching that when they brought those elements to me, my only stance was to examine that against how I saw how damaging comparison is. And I got to see it. I got to see that someone can feel really good if they compare and they win, and they're like, yeah, man, look at me, and how freaking awful if it's vice versa, and the other guy wins, and they're like, yeah. And so, as long as we're comparing ourselves to someone else, we're lost. There's no end to that, because there's always that you get the greatest of anybody. And there will come that day that they're going to lose to something, because that's just the way things are with the offspring of this guy who's ends up smarter or stronger or a better athlete, or not better, I hate to say that word. He's just faster. The way he moves his legs, it moves faster. And I hate to say faster, because he's just moving his legs, and the variables once again could go across the board, because he may be tall and have longer legs, which means he has a bigger span. The other guy may have shorter legs, and so he has a shorter span. So because the other guy has longer legs, he's able to push, and so he's able to get to the other side a lot quicker. I'm catching myself with the words because I don't utilize those words anymore. Quicker, better, more, prettier, prettiest, stunning, gorgeous. I don't use that anymore. It's freaking horrible. I hate. Well, I can't say I hate. You know what? Want to hear something crazy? I don't love anything. Therefore, I can't hate anything. But if you see me with the children, you'll see me with that person like this. And we will be playing. The kid will run and hug me. I don't need to call that anything. It's self-descriptive. I don't have any friends. Therefore, I cannot not have any friends. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm with people. I go out with people. I go on church with people. I go to a family's house and we eat together, but I'm not calling them a friend. I'm not calling them that this is my friend and this is my best friend and she's like a mother to me and this is like a son to me. I don't do none of that. I don't categorize any person or anything. Because the categorizing is there within comparison. This person is like my dad, but that person is not. This person is an associate, and this person is a good friend, and this person is someone that I just know. He's just a comparison. So now, what happens when I consider this guy my best friend and he does me wrong? Now I put myself in a position to get upset because the value I placed on him. And so now there's no value placed on anyone. So everyone's just a human being. And that's it, man. And so, this freaking talk is a gold mine. It's a gold mine for me. Because as I speak, I'm almost like really solidifying my stance to never compare. And what I said at the top, that I don't compare me with me, most people will say I don't compare myself to anyone, I just compare myself to myself. It's the same freaking game, trying to do better when you were younger. So I'm 61 years old. I can't do better when I was 30 because that's no longer here, man. What am I doing? For what? Oh, when I was 30 I did this much, so now I have to see how much I did this much, and then what happens? So capacity is the best word for me to express that there's a certain capacity that we carry. Capacity. Right now, I just hung 71 kg because that's what I weigh now. So if next month I lost 2 kg, I'll hang longer because I'm hanging less weight. That's what I mean by capacity. Same thing with push-ups. If I did push-ups now, I'm a little sick and I'm pushing heavier weight because I got heavier. And so I don't know if the weight that I gained has made me stronger. But there's a chance that if it did make me stronger, then that's going to be the weight, the extra weight that made me stronger. Okay, so that made me stronger. Or when I lose weight and I continue to exercise, I'm going to be pushing less weight and then I'll be able to do more because I am now less weight where I can push more. You see the difference? This is really freaking gold stuff, bro. I was trying to tell the 30-year-old that if you catch what I'm saying, your life will change. Because comparison is done across the board from the minute we wake up to the minute we go to sleep. Comparing yesterday to today against how tomorrow's going to be. Today I did this, so tomorrow I want to do more. And I'm going to do better tomorrow, and next time I'll try better. And what we're doing is that we're pressing and pushing, and that type of tension and that type of strain, it hurts the body. It hurts the body to the point where these guys, J.K. Krishnamurt was saying that it causes a more rapid aging. I see it. It's a freaking aging right there within itself because you're freaking making your body run on overkill to be better, and push. And I watch so many people hurt themselves to be better. Oh yeah, they're trying to be better and they won, but they walked out with busted knees. Is that what I want? Busted knees so that I can say I did better than someone else? And so I'm going to do my last hang, and then I'm going to wrap this up as another freaking gold message that I'm primarily giving to myself. So never ever compare. But never, and for nothing, practicality, for practical reasons, a bed big enough for me and my girl. Practicality, but not compare. And so let's hang. 1, 2, 3. let's make that one nice and short. Okay, man. Each hang gets less and less and less, which makes a lot of sense. And so that on that one, I took it extra light, although I could have hung just a little bit more. But this will be 4 hangs I did, because I did one before this one. And so while I was hanging, what came to my mind was all the times that I tried to impress. Like I would, let's say, meet people at a bar or go to a club, and whether I had the money or not, I'll take out my American Express Gold card and pay for everyone's drinks. You know, and they'll go, oh, and I'll be, don't worry about it, I got it. You know? And what I was doing was that I was doing a reverse comparison thing. Because now they get to compare me with the other guys and say, Albert's the freaking man, bro. He paid for drinks, he paid for us. And so what I'm doing is that I'm making sure that now I freaking get other people to compare me, so I look and give myself a better status. Now, what I didn't catch was that I made those people feel bad. Me, yo, look at me. I was in the music business, so I made a lot of money, and so I dropped the money like that, but I did it to feel good and to be better than them, and there's the comparison. So now they ended up, so there was times where I would try to pay the whole thing, and the guys would come in, no, come on. They wanted to pay too, just to be fair. They were the good guys. And I was the one that, oh yeah, you know, I want to get off. And now I walk out with high esteem, and I feel better, which is the realm back there with comparison, to feel better. If they paid, I'd just be a normal Joe. And then I'll be like, oh, what about me? And there are pretty girls around, and so I wanted them to go, oh, horrible. So if you see this channel as a fitness channel, but the things I bring to the table, it helps with fitness. Because the comparison that we do out in the world, if it's done with fitness, is going to produce the same damage. And so in the same way that I did all the comparative measures outbound with people and me comparing myself to others with the prettiest and gorgeous and stunning and all those things that I compared, which means that as long as we're using these degrees, someone's always going to feel bad, then this means everyone is screwed. Think about it. So you're the best now? They're calling you the best now? How long is that going to last? And what's going to happen to you when it freaking goes away? What's going to happen? I know a guy who fell into a deep, all because he lost his place as a DJ. He was a freaking megastar DJ, played all over the world, and then he was ranked lower. I saw it, man. Comparison did that to him. He wanted to stay at the top forever, and that's not the way it is. And having the top is not nothing to try to grasp. Like, yeah, I'm at the top. That is a freaking terrible place to be, because this means that you're freaking going crazy already, trying to maintain the top, trying to impress to stay at the top, the responsibilities while you're at the top, and trying to remain at the top. And then what happens? We get older, man. We freaking age, and then there's the freaking there's no way to remain at the top. And for me, there's no top. Okay, so you freaking end up shining for a while, and you get your gold records, and you get your awards, and you end up in status, and people know you. You can see it on YouTube. Even here on this channel, you see a whole bunch of very popular guys, and what happens? They get in trouble. There's all this beef. There's all these problems. There's all these lawsuits. There's a big mess that happens behind their being at the top. And then what happens? They freaking fall off, man. You don't hear from them anymore. Their self-esteem gets themselves into their own trouble, and all of a sudden they lose all their subscribers. And they end up in a turmoil that is unnecessary. And why? Because of that status nonsense. Status nonsense is comparison. My channel, look at this one. It's better than that one, and I make this much money, and look at my gold award, and look at my platinum award, and then, oh, I'm demonetized. What happened? The views fell off, and then what happens? And so anyway, man, this ends this amazing chat, which is going to be my homework tomorrow. I listen to my words back so that I could be this. No comparison at all. I don't want to even utter that word anymore. I don't want that word to be part of my vocabulary. And when anyone compares me to someone else, I want to walk away somehow. I want to try to see how I could treat that non-verbally, because explaining it to them, I don't think they get it, because it's fashions. It's our blueprints to compare. It's a normalcy. It's ingrained in us. The kids are doing it. She's better. Oh, I didn't do better. The tests that we have in school, it's terrible. You get an A. So the guy who gets a B, the person who gets a C, grading people is a freaking horrible to make someone feel better or not. And so anyway, this closes my freaking hang and mega chat. And so until the next one, I am done.